And today we're going to talk about Mando trailer. We're going to talk about problems at Disney and maybe some video game stuff. And make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and all that jazz. And oh, look who it is! It's Santa, and he's telling you to like the video. So like the video. That Will loser. That's what I'm going to call him because he likes Willow more than me. This guy. What? I'm like, I don't know, Santa. At the end, the villains didn't even do anything. The extra ones that they had, they just stood there. And he's like, well, they kind of did something. I said, no, Santa, get back in there. And I closed the app right now. It started the show.
Yeah, Santa's like a Led Zeppelin mark. You know what I mean? He's big on that 70s fantasy.
Man, if it was 70s fantasy, they would have chopped off that big guy's arms and just had him grow them back or something, you know. But but they have there's this fight. It's like where Kit and Jade Kit and Alora are going back to back and they're talking, switching sides, but they're not really doing anything. If you watch the scene, they're just switching sides and being like, I can see you, therefore you can't kill me. It makes zero sense. And yeah, that show, man. Somebody did an edit on the Reddit thing for it where they just changed all the music out to the classic Willow theme song, and I watched it. I'm like, man, now this is working. It's dumb, but it works.
No, it's not dumb. Let's put in a disco track for the Superman movie and drop John Williams music and see how that goes. You know?
Yeah, and some of the music I did like. I generally like Phoebe Bridger, but not my Willow. Oh man, yeah, he sent me this thing, and once again though, if somebody is really enjoying it and really believes that, then I'm happy for them. I think they're fundamentally wrong, but I'm not gonna make it my personality and go after them. That's the difference between a grown up and alt-right Star Wars YouTube.
But also, anyway, they should remember that when they shit on me for liking Avatar.
Everybody likes Avatar. You're the one who's always put up with having this persecution.
Oh no, complex. They'll turn. Give it a month or two. You know,
no, I told you, I saw it in 2D. I saw it in 2D, and it's a 3D movie. You know, I'm gonna say I like Avatar
but you know,
in 3D. I will never like it in 2D.
I'm gonna come back on you on that one. Mm-hmm. Star Wars, if it debuted on an iPhone, doesn't hit you the same in 77 than on a giant fucking screen with that Star Destroyer filling.
I watched.
It's not the same.
Nah, see that
it's not the same. Growing up with it on videotape. No, it's not
expositional boring shit. It was the cantina, man. It was the cantina.
It doesn't play the same.
That's where I come in.
The same footage is on the holiday special. Doesn't play the same as when you're in the theater with the big. No, so that's just cinema. Cinema works better big, bro. That's why they came up with the Cinescope screen.
Yeah,
but saying with David Lean, you know, when I watch it on my phone, it's not as big, you know.
Let's get real about history here, though. Our 60-inch TVs that we have in our bedrooms now at 4K look better than the big screen, but the prints that you used to see in the theater.
Not at the distance.
They played for fucking years and they looked like I remember seeing movies as
they look better
and not paying
garbage. Yeah.
No. I remember seeing movies so fucked up that I wasn't watching the movie. I was watching the pubic hairs and scratches dance.
Right, but they played in theaters for a long time because they were popular. So I'm telling you, they got popular because when they showed up that first week, you know, the first month or two, like any other theater, that's how the movie gets big. If that movie had showed up on PBS, you know, or ABC Sunday Night Special, like Battlestar Galactica, it doesn't play the same. I
mean, I'm not making an argument that seeing something in a movie theater isn't as fun or as good, but to act like what we have at home is somehow worlds different. Sometimes you go to the movie theater today and the screen doesn't even feel that much bigger than the one you have at home. Some of you get into those multiplexes with 30 theaters in it. Those screens, I don't think personally are big enough to bother getting up off my ass for, but I know where we can meet in the middle here, Rob, right here. It's Santa's saying he's going to wait for it to come to streaming. I'm going to say just don't fucking bother, Santa. Just don't even bother with that. Go see it in the theater. It sucks. I'm just telling you, it sucks in 2D. It's not that good of a movie that it works great in because it puts all its potatoes into the 3D. So you got to see it in 3D because then it becomes worth it. Then what it sacrifices
Fortnite with one eye closed, right? Sounds good. You like
No, you know what? Fortnite is good all the time, even with one eye,
play
two
it with
eyes.
one eye closed to see how
Yeah.
fun it is.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't tried it.
I will today, and I'll prove you wrong.
Okay.
All right. So this is from bestmanbulletin.org. A new trailer for Mandalorian Season 3 confirmed to release on January 16th by Brian Bestino. So you could give him a coffee if you read a site every day, or if you use it, and make sure to tell him Making Star Wars sent you. Suck it. We hate that guy here. It's been 4 months since the exciting teaser trailer for the highly anticipated third season of Mandalorian was released during the D23 exposition, and fans have been patiently waiting for a follow-up trailer ever since. Patiently? Fucking speak for yourself there,
My
buddy.
ass.
I mean, I wasn't gonna put the article out, so all day I just go, oh, is it gonna have that girl from wrestling that I wank it to all the time? Will she be in it? And I'm just like, I don't know.
But will she, Jason? You didn't answer my question.
Yes.
I mean, I posted it.
Yes.
Okay.
The official and likely final trailer was rumored to be debuting on Christmas, but Hands had to wait a little longer than that expected. So this is where he starts taking all these digs at me and stuff because it didn't pan out.
Yeah. You got the trailer release date wrong, Jason.
Right. He goes on. He goes on to say, I love Bespin. In an official press release from the Disney-owned ESPN, the new trailer for The Mandalorian Season 3 will debut on the network January 16th during the Monday Night Football wildcard game between the Dallas Cowgirls and the Tampa Pigs, which begins at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Disney and Lucasfilm debuting a trailer for a Star Wars project during Monday Night Football has happened frequently over the years. So it comes as no surprise that Disney will once again implement this marketing strategy for the eagerly awaited third season of The Mandalorian. Little is known about what to expect from the new trailer, but a rumor from Making Star Wars claims this guy actually trying to make it sound like I'm a liar, claims that fans will get their first look at Back to the Future's Christopher Lloyd in the trailer, and that once again the trailer will focus on Bo-Katan being the antagonist to Din this season, though it is not the case, and it's just being made to look this way for marketing purposes. Yeah. In the trailer that was going to hit at Christmas, we were going to see Christopher Lloyd's new character, and we were going to see I honestly think there was a shot of Gideon with the helmet too. I think that might have been in it, but don't quote me on that one. But I had it like I had it inferred, but no, but I was also, if you watch me on Santa's show, like afterwards he asked what happened, and I said I was told everything at Disney Plus has changed. Like I had a source tell me anything that you knew like 3 weeks ago about like release dates and stuff like that, don't report it. Just don't do it. I was like, okay. And that's because everything shifted. And now, for all I know, there was always going to be a Monday Night Football trailer. I think there probably always was going to be one in with this Christmas surprise that they didn't do. But so there we go. I don't know if we might get the trailer online before that day. It could happen. That's also happened before, but this is what is going on over at Disney now, and it's a proxy fight. This is from the Hollywood Reporter. Nike executive Mark Parker will lead the board while investor Nelson Peltz's fund expressed concern that Disney leaders failed to effectively communicate the financial rationale behind the strategic pivots. So there's basically like an investors group that's really big in Disney, and they're going a little bit rogue, is what it sounds like. So they're mad. They want their money. They want to pretend like there hasn't been a pandemic. They want to pretend like they weren't trying to dominate of the fucking market in streaming, that they weren't trying to take it over, and all kinds of just generally stupid shit. But it's somebody from Nike who they're bringing in, and so that means we could expect some children in sweatshops working at Disney here, being
Wouldn't be the first.
Meeting you at the park. You'd be like, hey, that quote cast member looks like they're about 11 and they have a pickaxe and blood diamonds in their hands. What's going on here?
You're just giving Katzenberg hope. You know what I mean? That there might be future employment.
All right, the Walt Disney Company is shaking up its board of directors. Once again, Hollywood Reporter tapping. It's always tapping. Tap at the House of Mouses, tapping somebody to direct. How about they just fucking finger them? Yeah, you're directing, you know? All right, sorry, I get excited.
Jeez.
Tapping Nike executive chairman Mark Parker to be the chairman, effective as of its next annual meeting. Next anal meeting. Susan Arnold, Kevin Arnold's mom from the Wonder Years. I don't know what she looks like, so I just assume it's Kevin Arnold's mom, who has been chair since Bob Iger retired.
Just picture the mom from Growing Pains in the 60s.
Yeah. And also, like, because it's bippity boppity boop kind of bullshit, people they are chairs. These aren't real people. These are chairs. Who has been chair since Bob Iger returned from the company at the end of 2021, and who asked him to return last year. Well, which was just like a fucking few months ago, really. When you say like last year, it sounds like it was like a year ago. This was weeks ago. Will step down from the board at that time. The company says her departure is consistent with Disney's 15-year board term limit. Yeah, which is what we need in our government too. Just not 15 years for some of this shit. Mark, for all of this shit about let's run a country like it's a corporation and all that dog shit. Well, how about we at least get this going, you know? All right. Mark Parker's vision, incredible depth of experience and field of vision, and wise counsel have been invaluable to Disney. And I look forward to continuing working with him in his new role, along with our other directors. And as we chart the future course for this amazing company, said Bob Iger, Disney CEO and bullshitter, in a statement. I added that part. Quote, on behalf of my fellow board members and the entire Disney management team, I also want to thank Susan for her superb leadership as chairman, for all her tireless work over the past 15 years as an exemplary steward of the Disney brand. Wow, you said it, Bobby I. So
I'm willing to bet she didn't want to come into office, and so they got rid of her.
She's like, I ain't going to. I don't want your cooties. I don't want your COVID cooties. Parker will also chair a new committee on the Disney board, quote, a succession planning committee dedicated to advising the board on the status of CEO planning. So that has to do with the fact that Bob Iger's coming back, but he's only supposed to come back for a short time. So I'm reading between the lines here, and I think that like it's to work in conjunction with finding a successor, but also most likely because of what happened when Bob Iger last time before he came back, he was stepping down and then said, nope, psych, I'm staying. And it made a lot of friction with the guy who was replacing Bob Iger. And in doing so, I think that there's some people who may have this idea that Bob Iger is sabotaging his successors. And there's also some evidence that there was a little bit of that, maybe. So
yeah.
And so in putting this person in this position, it makes it where, in theory, the investors are protected from Bob Iger's ego. But it could also
no, not the employees, just the investors.
Oh yeah, they don't care about fuck about the employees. They're all children now. You know that they're all Nike ex-Nike kids. I mean, don't get me wrong. They're like late teens now, but all right.
They should make them like those whole bring a boss to work thing.
People
force them to work.
People from the land of Bespin, the realms of Meg, as they call it Nike. Isn't that crazy? That's just of all of the shit that we let them say. Why do we let them get away with that one? Nike. It's not Nike. It's Nike.
We have to because we still have Dick Van Dyke.
Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah.
Let's start calling him Dick Van Dyke. I like that better.
Yeah.
A guy who was like a really good buddy of mine, his dad was like one of the first runners to wear the Nike shoes. Like his Nike shoes that he wore are like in this like Nike like marathon. But trust me, it's called Nike. Yeah, they okay. So Meg doesn't say that, but yeah, they are like it is Nike. It's and people in Australia also say Nike as well.
I like Nikkei.
All right.
Yeah.
However, the
Like
company.
Gwen Stefani, I'm turning Japanese.
I really think so.
Yeah, I really think so.
So Hollywood Reporter goes on to write, however, the company also disclosed that it is facing a proxy fight from activist investor Nelson Peltz and his fund Tryon Partners. Trying too hard. More like Tryon Johnson. Am I right, guys? Tryon Johnson, huh? Last
I'm gonna
Jedi.
remember that
Last
one.
Jedi.
You opened a can of worms there, buddy.
I know. Instead, they're like, "Oh, ruin Johnson." All right, all right. Tryon has nominated.
That's tired. That's not wired.
Yeah, right. Tryon has nominated Peltz to serve on the board. In a presentation published on January 11th, the investment firm described many of Disney's challenges as self-inflicted. Which, when you hear that, I always think of Kurt Cobain, self-inflicted shotgun to the head. That's kind of what they're trying to. That's the kind of language that you use for that kind of thing. So, as self-inflicted, and advocated for the entertainment giant to restore its dividend by fiscal year 2025, seek more efficiencies and additional profits, and express concern
firing people
that Disney management direct-to-consumer streaming push with Disney Plus, quote, failed to effectively communicate the financial rationale behind the strategic pivot. Excuse me. So that right there, effectively communicate the financial rationale behind the strategic pivot. What they need to do is when they say that, they need to march in all of those sweatshop kids from Nike's all wearing their Grogu backpacks at that point. That's how you do it, right?
He gets that the toys, the toys and what is that fucking Babes in Toyland theme? Bob Iger marches in and all the East Asian children wearing their fucking gear.
Yeah, all the I mean, like, well, I mean, like that's what it's like it depends on how you look at this stuff, because like Bob Iger's company, from the way I understand it, has classically been around giving creatives the power to make what they need to make, understanding that in the process of synergy, profits would come from where they're going to come from. So it would be okay to make a $150 million season of The Mandalorian. And yes, Disney Plus might not look super profitable, but when you go to an elementary school to pick up your kids every day, like I do, you end up seeing like 13 to 14 different pieces of Grogu items on parents and children. Because while they did get that $8 a month, or now $12, whatever it is a month from them, they're also buying the Grogu backpacks and action figures and lunch boxes and all of that bullshit. So I think that's what they might have to do. And the other thing is I think the dummies will go, well, that's Mandalorian. But I will say that while I don't think, for instance, I'm just going to pick a show that hasn't come out yet, so it's nobody could take exception to it. The Acolyte. The Acolyte's not going to have a Grogu in it that we know of necessarily, but that ecosphere of families watching Disney Plus and watching Star Wars shows as they come out, and that being a thing, is ultimately like all connected once again to that kind of creative synergy that I think Iger goes for. I think that
just show them the sales and fucking Fortnite skins alone. This is the thing that like used to drive me nuts about like these companies like Disney and them would say, well, the comic book division of Marvel, it only makes like 20 million a year, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, it turns out a fan base and a storylines that generate $1 billion like 3 times a year.
Yeah.
In a but they see with Hollywood accounting, they can't say, well, that affects this. They go, well, this one thing, so we got to gut it. And then, then their movies tank and their fan base hates them. And they go, well, what happened? Because you fucking bean counters. You know what I mean? Like, just to got no souls, man.
Well, yeah, like, and then to take it out of Star Wars so that way we can just rationally look at what this is. when they made the Dragon Ball Z skins in Fortnite, for instance, 2% of the install base bought that skin. And people are like, it's only 2%. That's not a lot. Oh, it's like $30 million probably, because those skins are like, it's like $30 for some of those sets.
Yeah, I'm gonna say they didn't spend even $1 million on this, making the skins. You know what I mean?
No, probably
I
one,
mean,
probably like 3 people probably worked on it, right? Like in actuality, like to make that model.
Spent, and when you add their, not in like development time, but if you add their salary or their, you go, maybe they spent 50 grand. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I know, man.
It's a great investment for like what they get out of it. And remember, like the Disney Plus characters of many of them have been sold on in Fortnite now. So once again, like they just maybe, I guess they just want it to be justified. One last thing.
This is a fucking company. Hold on. This is a company that sees no value in building their own video games. And it's like, look at what they could be reaping in with game purchases and shit. You know what I mean? Like with their fucking IP, if they just fucking like, but they don't understand this, man. They've never have, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I would say, see, the thing is, Santa, is that's all part of the grift. He says, but wait, Jason, but Star Wars currently in a coma. I saw that on Twitter. So rest in peace. If that's true, then those content creators should shut the fuck up about Star Wars and move the fuck on. But the thing about it is they want to push that into that, so that way they could go Star Wars MAGA, make Star Wars and America great again. That's the whole idea. And it's all bullshit, because when something's truly dead, you just move on. I don't see anybody who actually talking about the Matrix right now and doing that.
Well,
kind of shit.
I do. I mean,
you do really?
Okay. They made one really great movie, dude. I mean, maybe one day they'll make a sequel, right?
No. I'm saying when something goes into a coma, in actuality, it goes into a coma and it's not being fucking tweeted about, and people aren't making fucking content videos about it and hate watching
Paul
it
tweets about the
and
Matrix.
So on. You know what I mean? Oh yeah. Well, that's what happens when you are a pig killer. But poor, what was her name? Was it Betsy or some shit? The pig. But I don't know. Maybe he's innocent on that one. That guy sucks though. Who cares? Anyways, yeah, right here. That's what I was thinking. Make Star Wars great again. But I think you need to put America in there too, because most of these people don't want to raise their kids. They want Disney to do it for them. You know what I mean? They want to say, hey, Disney, I don't like what you're teaching my kids. Because I'm not going to teach my kids anything. What is this teaching my kids? I don't know. How about you fucking teach your kids? That's what I do. Little bastards. All right. Anyways, let's move on. Pelt's Fun went on to elaborate its concerns with Disney Plus, adding, we are surprised that Disney's best-in-class IP franchises and scale have not led to inline, if not superior, unit economics compared with Netflix, which generally lacks high-quality franchise IP. Hi, I am a robot. I fucking have complete ass breath all the time. And I don't know anything about making stuff and creativity. I'm about the bottom line and having my breath smell like your bottom. But fuck this guy. But basically what he is saying is that Netflix makes a bunch of diarrhea, splatters it on the wall, hoses it down, and there's a little dingleberry there that was a success to go. We did it.
Why don't we have a Joe Rogan? They got a Joe Rogan.
But this comment is so fucking stupid, because when you have world-class IPs, the Netflix model doesn't work for that, you fucking jackass. Like, how fucking stupid would it be if they went and did what Netflix does with Marvel? You would just have outrage and poutrage and quitting. And did it with Star Wars. That is such a fucking dumb whataboutism in the stupidest fucking way. Whoever said that, I don't think they're going to watch our show, but if you do, you should fucking think about what you're saying, and you should reorganize how you view what you do have, because you don't know. You went and you fucking had cocktails with Zaslav, and you're watching that boat sinking, but he has a boat, so you want that sinking boat too, because you're fucking stupid. I mean, it's so dumb. The thing about it is that this stuff makes money by being good. Like, in the end, we're going to see, like, number one, if I were them right now and they had, they could look back and know what everything was going to be. I don't think Andor was the right show at the right time. I love Andor. I think it's the best thing that they ever did. But I do think in 20 years, we will still be watching Andor while most of these will have fallen off.
Yeah, it's the best show at any time. I don't want to hear quality's quality. You know what I mean? And like, and it teaches them what to do, what not to do. And if they're learning the wrong fucking lessons, then Disney's never learned. Hey, those fucking DVD direct-to-DVD sequels were super profitable. Why don't we just fucking make 5 Lion King sequels? That'll be great.
Yeah.
How well that go? How well that go? You know?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like when you really get down to it, there's only been 2 shows on Netflix in the last like 2 years I've even cared about. And that's Stranger Things, which doesn't really mean I need to subscribe to them all year. In fact, I was considering canceling my Netflix account. And then the other one was I like Squid Game. I thought that was super fun, but there hasn't been any more of that. And so it's like when you really get down to it, if you're just jealous of Stranger Things in the moment.
I told you they got Stranger Things on the mind, bro. Like,
yeah,
that's all I keep hearing from this company is Stranger Things over and over.
But that's like pathetic. Listen, I love Stranger Things, but in comparison to what they have, that is pathetic.
Yeah.
When you have Star Wars and you have Marvel and you have Pixar and it just goes on and on what they have to work with.
Twilight meant a lot to my niece and her generation. You know what I mean? Like it's not my thing, but I respect it. Sure. It's not the same as having fucking Star Wars or Marvel or some shit. You know, like, are you out your fucking minds?
Yeah.
And that's what Stranger Things is, something for a generation. I'll be watching it forever.
Same.
I love it, but
Same. I love it too.
It's not going to spend endless fucking novels and shit. Man, I've listened to some of the Stranger Things novels. Have you?
No, I haven't. I would add Wednesday into that. I did really enjoy Wednesday for what it is, but that one also we'll have to see if on a second season if I give a shit, like if it can continue.
But that goes to saying that you need to give people a reason to stay on your platform. And this whole like we got to always be acquiring new people. We got to ignore the people we have and always for the new people is like. It's such a CEO mentality. That's why you can never get a raise at work. You have to leave your job to get a raise, right? That's great. Brain drain. That's really fucking wonderful.
But here's the other thing too that's worth noting. Netflix isn't in a great position either and hasn't been.
Right.
Netflix is not something to model yourself against either. Like really, it's not. And so yeah, Netflix was in, I believe, in a worse situation than Disney, and but we'll see.
They don't have any ancillary business. Disney has a diversified business. Like this is the craziest thing too, because like they need only look no further than their own fucking Daredevil Defenders fucking shit. Hey, that used to be on Netflix too. Guess what? You know what I mean? Like who won? Like what are you talking about?
Well, and then let's be real. If I mean with how things go with these corporations, fucking eventually Disney will probably own Stranger Things, most likely. The activist investors Trian really Johnson also specified that it is not looking to oust Iger, which would be a nightmare for them, and especially when he's on a limited return anyway. Or spin-off assets like ESPN, but that the fund is for ensuring successful CEO succession within 2 years, meaning that it's looking for Iger to leave that role at that time. And I think that
a guy who'll sell us out.
I think that ultimately, if Iger isn't looking to stay for a long time, if he is only really looking to return for these 2 years, this is probably a good thing. But in reality, the idea that Disney is going to go from somebody like Iger to somebody like Iger is not really probably going to happen. So if I were them, I'd try to hold on to him as long as I can. But anyways, the Disney board disclosed in a statement earlier in the day that it, quote, remains open to constructive engagement and ideas that help drive shareholder value. While senior leadership of the Walt Disney Company and its board of directors have engaged with Mr. Peltz numerous times over the last few years, the board does not endorse the Trian Group nominee and recommends that shareholders not support its nominee and instead vote for all of the company's nominees. Yes. And this Trian group, I'm not sure if they are who I think that they are, but I think they're a bunch of shitheads if they are who I think they are.
They sound like all I hear, man. My intuition is I hear a company that's like, why can't we sell to Zaslav? Why can't we sell our company to Saudi Arabia? I hear tech bros, investment hedge fund, fucking crypto bullshit with this, man. I'm telling you, like,
right.
How come we can't sell our parks to North Korea? There's a lot of money in North Korea. We'll let Russia buy up some of this shit. We need to find a way to triple the profits every quarter, no matter what, forever.
Yeah,
that's sustainable.
So, just a side note from Wikipedia, Nelson Peltz is an American billionaire, businessman, and investor.
I hate him already.
Fuck him. Spitting his food. He is a founding partner together with Peter W. May and Edward P. Garden of the Trian Fund Management, an alternative investment management fund based in New York. He's a coastal elite.
Nothing shitty ever happens in New York, Jason.
Yeah. You know what? Every billionaire never did it, just earned that money. You know what I mean? Just earned it. And not off the backs of the proletariats. But anyways, here we go. Mr. Iger's mandate is to use his 2-year term and depth of experience in the industry to adapt the business model for the shifting media landscape, rebalancing investments with revenue opportunity while bringing a renewed focus on the creative talent that has made the Walt Disney Company the envy of the industry, the company said. Mr. Iger has already taken decisive steps to realign content creation and distribution, which is when he put a lot of it back in the hands of creators, thankfully, and reposition Disney's streaming platforms and linear broadcast and cable networks for enhanced profitability for the company.
These guys don't like that.
No.
They don't want that.
Well, they just want instantaneous returns, right?
They want their Wall Street bros to be made. I think I can figure out how to make the next Star Wars movie. I'll listen to Star Wars bullshit theory fucking nerd fuckface.com. I could do it.
I could do it. Yeah.
Remember when Sal was a stockbroker? Remember that? Like,
oh yeah, all the way back then. What they need to do is
the financial advice, dude.
Bob Iger just needs to walk in there and just needs to go.
Bop it to start.
And then start rocking the bop it. No, sorry. No, I don't want to.
The question is, why didn't they get to making a fucking series of Mando movies when that shit took off? If I were an investment fund guy in this, I'd be like, you guys aren't really capitalizing. You're over here making fucking Willow series that ain't even Willow. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah. Well, that's why me and Bestman, we were talking yesterday. We were like, man, they need to make the fucking short round show. Like, I'm all about the Ravenwood idea. Like, that's cool. But fucking short round is where it's at, man. That guy, like everybody loves that guy. Everybody's glad to see him back. He's winning awards. He's fucking, he wants to do it. Like, you could bring in Indiana Jones in some episodes for moments. You could bring Willie Scott in as his mom, and like not even have her in the show. She could just be like, it could just be like going on adventures, taking his mom out to dinner. Then it's like, oh mom, I gotta go. And it's Willie Scott, man. Willie fucking Scott. Right. And then like there's just like a whole thing there where you could have him where he grew up to be an archaeologist because he wanted to be like Indiana Jones. And then he has his fedora and his briefcase when he's a teacher. He takes that shit off, puts the New York Yankees hat on, and he's like, hold on to your potatoes. And I'm like, that's the show I fucking want. Why aren't you making that? Yeah. I mean, and you could have Helena from the new movie be in it because she could know short round and go on adventures with them because they're in the same field at the same time. Like,
you think Short Round was into Star Trek when it launched in the 60s? He was in Star Trek.
Oh, yeah. He's a nerd, and Indiana. And what I like about him is he's a nerd, and Indiana Jones is a nerd, but like Indiana Jones is like also like has just his like masculine qualities where he goes out and fucking punches Nazis, but he's always in over his head. But then like you have Short Round who looks like a nerd, but he has fucking martial arts, dude. Like he does martial arts,
and he drives with shoeboxes.
Yeah, not now. Not now. He's like going to be like a 40-year-old
No,
adult.
he can't. It doesn't feel right when he drives normally. You know, you got too used to it. Look,
I
Jason,
grew up with this.
You spend 10 years driving barefoot. You know what I mean? Like when you get
Yeah.
to, it's not gonna feel the same with shoes on.
I mean, like imagine the episode titles. Hold on to your potatoes, episode 1. You know what
Like
I mean?
every cheesy pun from the 80s, you know?
Yeah. And then what? Want to hear something else that's like pretty cool that we heard about from some like podcast. I don't remember what the podcast was. Sorry, I'm an asshole, but it's a big podcast, so they don't need the show support. But I
Harloff?
no, fucking.
Oh, okay.
Fucking Chunk is his agent.
Yeah.
So when you want to book Short Round and Data, you got to call Chunk.
Yeah.
That's the fucking coolest thing I've ever heard in my life.
He makes you do the truffle shuffle.
So you know what that means, right, Rob? We're gonna try to book him as a guest on the show, just so that way we could like have
a conversation.
Yeah. so Chunk can tell us no, but that's cool.
2 for 1.
Yeah. Star Wars said I started my channel around the time of season 2 trailer came out. I look at you now. Your meteoric rise to stardom, Meg.
Yeah.
Slow down, Meg. Smell the flowers a little bit.
No.
Miss Sunflower.
No, if she doesn't keep those numbers up, me and the shareholders are gonna file an injunction and get some group in to figure out how we can keep her from, we gotta grow these you gotta triple those numbers, Meg. Unlimited growth.
Yeah. Well, that's
you're worthless.
That's the thing is like I would love to live in a world where everything could come out, where they can make 5 Willow shows and 10 Star Wars shows and 5 Indiana Jones shows, but the reality that we're facing for the near future is not that. And when Willow ends this week and they're promising 2 more seasons of, I loved Willow. Like I mean, there's even things I love about that show, but I don't want more. I'm like, you know what? Don't waste the money there. It's not. I don't think it's ultimately going to be worth it. But we also don't know what Willow cost. We probably know Willow cost $20 million an episode because we know they weren't doing multiple takes because Willow's like
Rob Zombie in charge of the finances.
Oh no, Laura. Hold on, let me get okay. What does it say? Only you have the power, Laura. That's pretty much what every take he did in that show was like. And but once again, we're moving into an era where this sounds bad for us. And it is kind of bad for us. I think like things are sounding kind of like not great in the sense that I don't like this next year or within like a very short time. We had Kenobi, Book of Boba Fett, another season of Mandalorian, The Acolyte, the Willow. There's some other shit too. I'm leaving something off. Skeleton Crew. And like that's like a lot of stuff, right? But also remember that we're going to be going into, I think, a phase where we're starting to get films now in 2025. So by the time this slowdown begins to hit, the films will be returning. And I think I'm okay with that. I think I'm really, truly okay with 2 Star Wars series a year and a movie, like something around that. And then on the off year when there's not a movie,
I've been saying
3.
that since day one. All of these should be 2 series a year, Marvel included. And real like 12 episode series kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
And let shit breathe and fucking put toys out there and fucking build little fan bases, and whatever works, you start to move into the movie department, and what doesn't, you learn from and adjust.
Yeah.
Like in this way, you can really, if you introduce a new character, if you introduce a Mandalorian or you introduce a fucking Moon Knight or whatever, you give the people a chance to latch on to that versus just, well, what next? Well, what next? Well, what next? Well, what next? Because it's never going to end, man.
Yeah.
And the more you have a what's next, the less they're going to appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to become bored of all this. I'm bored of it. And then they keep watching it. They just feel bored. It's just, they got the trick, the magic trick with entertainment is to make people feel like it's special, even if they're getting it a lot. Like, and you just can't with quantity. Quantity won't get you there. Quality will always get you there.
Yeah.
But quality doesn't how do I say this? Quality doesn't ensure clickbait material, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they want everything to be viral. Oh, we're gonna make a viral video like that. Okay, good, all right.
Yeah.
Like Like, they go Stranger Things, great, but how many fucking series has Netflix? How many movies at $250 million each has Netflix made to get to Stranger Things? You see what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah.
it's not an efficient way to arrive at one cool thing, you know? Like, and let us not
right
forget
now,
why they're out there fucking worshiping Zaslav and Warner Brothers. The whole reason we got a Stranger Things is because Warner Brothers itself, before Zaslav, did not want the It movie that the Duffer Brothers were making to have kids in it, and so they quit.
So, according to macrotrends.net, Netflix's long-term debt from 2010 to 2022. Long-term debt can be defined as the sum of all long-term debt fields. Netflix's long-term debt for the quarter ending September 30th, 2022 was $13.8 billion. Netflix's long-term for 2021 was 14. So they only gained basically cut out $1 billion within a year. So which means at this point, at this rate, it's like going to take 13, 14 years until they're like profitable and out of debt. So, and then over at something called fool.com, they asked the question, does Netflix have a debt problem? Chart by author, data source Netflix 10K. Starting in 2025 through, though, Netflix will have nearly $7 billion in debt mature within a 3-year span. So that means they have to pay that $7 billion back, right? If it matures, is that what that means? Netflix will have nearly $7 billion in debt mature within a 3-year span, which means that they will have to probably borrow to pay off that. So that means you could probably maybe add another $7 billion on. I could be wrong about that. If anybody knows how this shit works, let us know in the comments.
And that's when the Saudi investment fund shows up.
Yeah.
And ends up owning like a majority shareholder. And look, not even Nintendo's exempt from this, bro. Like the Saudi investment firm owns a grip of Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I don't think people realize that kind of shit. Like, so.
Don't forget 9/11. Anyways, I'm kidding. Well, or am I? So, what's going on here? What am I having the interface bug out on me again? Like it shows like a Star Wars podcast gave me a super chat, and it won't let me. Thank you for this for the super chat, the Star Wars podcast, and always thank you for the support and being so fucking nice. Appreciate it a lot.
Nice, I don't trust it.
What's he doing? What's he doing over there? Being so
what's
nice
he doing with
us?
that night?
What's he about?
What's your angle, nice guy?
He says, big soggy hugs after a few weeks on Pandora. It's been a year for Star Wars. It's a big year for Star Wars. Also, I truly believe Obey Chinoy's film is a Sans Skywalker episode 10. So that's when you really get down to it, I think that's kind of what they're aiming for, what they're hoping for.
It's the only thing that makes sense.
Is being able to get that excitement and tell those kinds of stories, but without it being reliance upon Mark. I mean, like when you look at it, like I love Mark Hamill, but trying to bring in like 70-year-old Mark Hamill into these movies all the time isn't convenient. It's a hurdle and all kinds of stuff. So being able to continue the story forward with new people is ultimately like the goal. And
meanwhile, everyone in the comments like, but when is Luke Skywalker going to be in Ahsoka? When is Luke Skywalker going to be in Ahsoka?
When's Luke Skywalker? Yeah.
When's going to be Amanda? When's going to be Ahsoka? When's going to be?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's definitely a crutch, and it definitely holds us back. And like, don't get me wrong, I love Luke Skywalker. He's my favorite. I love Mark Hamill. He's the best. At the same time, though, I think like it's like, thank you for your service. You've done enough. You know what I mean? Like enjoy your life. Like
it's just called Ahsoka or Mando. Like if you're not enjoying those characters, then you're in the wrong fucking show, man. Like
yeah. And I think though that they would love for one of these new series. I think they've wanted for a long time. You know how episode 1 through 9 is the Skywalker saga? I think they want another saga. Excuse me. I think they want something to justify that being called that. And I think, the Game of Thrones guys were supposed to be that. Didn't happen. And then we moved into this TV phase, and we had the pandemic and economic turndown and all this stuff. So I think that where they're at right now, I think the hope is that they come in without there having been a Star Wars movie since 2019, everybody's, hungry for it. They make something good, and it, leads to exponential storytelling. I think that's like the goal. Will they do it? I don't know.
Hungry like a wolf.
Well, that's the thing about these Star Wars movie is a fucking meal. You know what I mean? Like it is. It's like it's an entertainment dopamine meal. But these TV shows, when you really get down to it, are usually going to be an appetizer at best. And we get mad at the appetizer. Some of us are dumb and we just eat chicken nuggets all the time. We're good with that. So we're cool with the appetizer as a meal. And sometimes I am too. But it's like we definitely need to have like a well-rounded, healthy Star Wars franchise. We have to have good films coming out, and we have to have some good shows coming out, and those things just kind of need to, like, complement one another. Like in reality, I think that like a format of films, a show like Andor, and a show like Acolyte,
and real animation, not like bullshit.
Yeah.
Disney XD fucking bullshit, like real stuff, man.
Yeah, or just don't do the animation. I'm to a point right now where I'm starting to feel a little bit like condescended to. I'm feeling condescension in their animated, the way that they've been doing animation since Star Wars Rebels. And then it's like then you get Visions where they're like, but then I love Visions, but by comparison it's pretentious. And I'm just like, how about we just fucking just make some animated Star Wars and just let it be.
It's pretentious when they lean into the endless catchphrases. When they just tell their own story, it's fucking cool.
Yeah,
but when they lean into all the catchphrases and
it's tropes, the presentation. It's the presentation, though. It's like I feel like and for our next course, we have this from Japan, and then yes, chef, and then they put it in front of us on that
Lucas
show.
set that tone the minute he made everything feel like classical 30s, a night at the theater,
But I'm like the menu right now, man. I'm like, I just want a cheeseburger, want an animated cheeseburger, and I want it to be good. Just want a good animated cheeseburger, and it's not really happening for me. And I was on board with the Clone Wars because of the storytelling, but that was because George Lucas was there. And that's the one component I could say that is just missing. When you do that weird show and you take away George's weirdness to it, it's just kind of left with a weird aesthetic in the end. It's gotten a little bit better looking in some ways, but whatever. Point is,
I know. That's like when people go, I think this up-res PS4 game at 120 frames is better than 90 frames. You're like, there's no discernible difference.
The like actual lighting and stuff has gotten worlds better, and the last since like Tales of the Jedi, the lighting and stuff has gotten a lot better. But
it's once still again, gray.
But no, but in but you haven't watched it yet, though. You haven't seen it, right?
Clips. Clips. I watched the trailer.
Clips don't even finish when you see clips, though. It oftentimes.
Okay, now I gotta watch one just to tell you I don't like
it. No, I'm not telling you. I don't think you should watch it. I don't think you will like it. But anyways, point is, we definitely need films to come back for Star Wars, and then we need to watch all of the people who are saying it's dead today talk about how it's back. But it'll be back only for a minute until like that runs its course. Then there'll be a problem, and then they'll go on. I've now been reporting on Star Wars bullshit for 10 years now. I think I started in 2013, like officially. I think I was kind of doing.
You've got 7,000 followers on YouTube, dude. You're doing good.
Well, I haven't been doing YouTube the whole time. To be fair,
no. Look at you.
Yeah, no, the articles do well. The YouTube not so much, but I think it's this prize winning fake. Honestly,
I blame myself. I don't help.
No, you do help. You do help. But yeah, we will go back. We will go back to a saga. It's going to happen. I really wanted to see what Taika was going to do, but a part of me is glad that it doesn't sound like Taika's film is the next one. It's just, I think it's important to remember there is always a chance that the current info is wrong. Sometimes even the best get things wrong. So there's a
What
chance
if
that Taika's movie is still next. That could still, or what if there's more to the picture than we realize? What if Taika's picture is a part of this series that Lindelof is
or
doing? All kinds of things, you know.
or what if Taika's just been holding out for Ezra Miller to get out of all that legal trouble so he can announce him as the lead, as the new, or them as the
Oh,
lead?
I
And
I saw yesterday he's like got like a couple years probation and like a $500 fine. I think he's good. I think he's
well,
ready.
that was the maximum violation for that one crime. He's got
Oh,
like
okay.
4 other fucking things to go through. Like
Oh,
that's
like feeding babies bullets and shit.
yeah, that was the one for his neighbor or some shit. Like
Okay.
I
Yeah.
actually did turn on the Campia show today because my buddy was telling me, like, I guess his grandma died or something. So I was like, oh shit.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'll go support the show. Been a while.
Mhm.
And then they were apparently Aaron Cummings knows all about fucking that legal shit. She's like, no, it's this and that. And so,
Mm.
but there's like a bunch of other, I don't know. But what I would say is it would be funny if he did announce a movie called Star Wars Ezra, but it has nothing to do with Ezra Bad. It just has Ezra Miller in it. It just troll the whole fucking
He's like
yeah.
when I was 7 years old, I saw Star Wars for the first time. It's like a documentary on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
What do you call it? I wanted to ask your opinion on this because like when I'm talking to Bespin about like Zaslav shit, you know, just like industry stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like when they took that Michael Keaton movie off the slate for the future, I feel like they turned down not exactly Force Awakens money, but something close because our
Yep.
generation misses Michael Keaton's Batman
Yep.
and doesn't care if Batman's old and would totally go and see it, and we would take our kids to see it too. Do you agree?
Yes. And to the point now, and you got to think about how I call this is actually the Marvel effect. Remember before Iron Man came out, you had to cast every superhero as a 20-year-old.
Yeah.
And then once they got Robert Downey Jr., now when they cast a Batman, they're like, he's too young.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what you're looking for is characters who imbue presence and intelligence and experience. And a 20-year-old Logan Paul ain't the kind of dude most people want to be looking up to, right? Like,
Right.
so like, it is a weird effect, but it's the way things change. And so, look, man, I love James Gunn, dude, and I'm the Suicide Squad movie was cool. Love Peacemaker,
Yeah, I liked
but
the Suicide Squad movie for it wasn't my favorite movie. I probably never watch it again, but I had fun watching it.
what gave me a little pause when he was talking about the Superman script he's writing was that he said it's this idea I've had forever, and I'm like, you came up with that idea in another time, dude. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's possible that I mean, he's not a flawless. I mean, everyone, he's not a flawless director, writer, director. As much as people fucking love to say, "Oh, Guardians is my favorite," they weren't saying that when Guardians 2 came out. I enjoyed it, but they weren't. People were hating on that movie left and right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, people just forget, like, pretty quickly. So I don't know, man. Like, I just think about this for like the Michael Keaton of it, like, in taking that Burton, not in our world move forward, but the Burton universe move forward, you know, is like that's an opportunity to do something that I've been saying it should have been doing when they were first announcing the Zack Snyder show. I just bring fucking Michael Keaton back.
Mhm.
Just say that Man of Steel shit took place in the Burton universe, like deal with it. Like, but yeah, well, you're getting all new sets of characters, reboots
Yeah.
for everybody.
Right. Well, we'll
You get a reboot.
hopefully yeah,
Ghostbusters,
hopefully it's good.
Ghostbusters will get rebooted again,
Yeah, I just like, even my daughter likes the Batman 89 movie and Batman Returns because that's of all we watched a few of them, but those are the ones that speak to her. And even if he was coming back, like I know for certain they would be getting at least 4 tickets from me from a Michael Keaton Batman movie. You know what I mean? Between me and my daughter probably going twice.
I
And
just hope that whatever Gunn decides to do and shit, like they could lean into it. I'm not saying being a comic book, but he can have cool gadgets and fucking cars and shit, and stop trying to make everything fucking the French Connection meets Seven. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So
because
Rick and Morty co-creator Justin Roiland faces felony domestic violence charges.
well, that's
Roiland
on
was
topic.
charged with domestic battery and false imprisonment in May 2020 after an incident with a woman he was dating, according to a criminal complaint. So let's see how it shakes out. I mean, like,
How's that Star
like,
Wars news?
I don't know. You only spend like every fucking well, you haven't done it in a while, but you used to always be impersonating Rick and Morty, and Rick and Morty comes up on the show all the time when there's a new episode and stuff. So
it hurts my
foot.
voice.
NBC News obtained the criminal complaint in the case, which Roland 42. Is it Royland or Roland? Royland, right? Roy, like ROY, but it's ROI. Anyways,
Like old
with
Roy.
one with corduroy, with 42 or with one felony count of domestic battery and corporal injury,
Jesus.
and one felony count of false imprisonment by menace, violence, fraud, and or deceit. I don't know what that even means, though. Does that mean like you get in that box and you don't get out, or you're in trouble? NBC News is the first to report publicly on the case. The complaint states that
literally, hold on, that is literally an episode of Friends.
January 18th, 2028, against an anonymous Jane Doe who was dating him at the time. According to Orange County Superior Court records, he pleaded guilty to not charges in October 2020. Yeah, so who knows, though? It could be a shakedown. Yeah, it could be real. It could be a shakedown.
It's LA, dude. It's weird. People, I don't fucking know,
Yeah.
I with all these things, and it's not because were you a fan? I haven't watched a cartoon in a while, man. I'm not saying that.
I watch it. I watch it as they come out. Like I'm a fan of it. And
I have a friend who worked with him on that game Trover Saves the World, like one-on-one. It was just him for a while.
Yeah,
he didn't like him, So like I'm not saying that. What I would just say is like that shit's for the courts, man. I don't
exactly. Yeah, for sure. It's like because you don't like somebody or somebody's a dick or whatever. It doesn't mean that they lock people in boxes necessarily. But KG saw. Geez, Rick. Ray is as a Palpatine says, will they use the volume to create the world between worlds or use CGI? I mean, that's the kind of a weird one. I think it's going to be the volume probably, but the volume is ultimately CGI, and so yeah, yeah. But anyways, yeah. But it's always a mix of things. But remember, like, just because you didn't like the volume in one thing or one person used the volume poorly, you classically have probably liked the volume the way that it was used in other places. People never complain about it on Mando and stuff like that. But
they did a good job of it on Star Trek.
So so
it's New Worlds.
It's completely down to the amount of care that's given to the budget and stuff like that. And so, but yeah, and then that's like the other thing too with the topic that we had today. Will Star Wars shows be funded the same? There will just be less. Will they be funded less and they'll make more? Like, who knows what they're going to do? It could really go both ways.
What do you mean nobody knows?
Well, nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
And then the blast doors start to close. What do you mean nobody knows? All right, but yeah, my friends out there. All right, here we go. Tyrant says it was under seal, but they're proceeding with the case, which is why the filing went public. My opinion is out on it's based on little details that are available. Yeah. So we won't start going, I'm not watching that show yet. We'll see what happens, see what actually went on there. And if it's any of our business. So yeah, but I think we did it, Rob. Oh, wait, actually one last thing. I would imagine there was some Ubisoft news and we were, and like, you showed it to me right before the show. I didn't get to watch it, so I'm completely ignorant of what's going on there. But
they've just had a giant stock drop.
And but it said that they canceled 3 games. Did it say what games they canceled? Do we know if Star Wars is in trouble there?
No.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, because I imagine in the next couple of days we may hear some news. Make sure when that news does break, you don't just fall for the first thing you hear. Make sure it comes from something reputable. Our buddy Bespin Bulletin is pretty looped in on video game stuff more than most, I would say. So I feel like we may see something from him hopefully soon. He hasn't said anything. I haven't talked to him about it or whatever. But until he says something about it, I'm just kind of being like, well, I'm hoping for the best. Thank you again for the $5 super chat topic. Teleports. This year feels like writing of the ship year. Ubi needs to write theirs with Star Wars Open World, and at SWC this year, films announced. Yeah. Topic Podcast says, no, it's all good, Jason. It was unannounced games canceled. Since Ubi's game was announced, it's safe. Okay, good.
Yeah, it could have been a Rabbids 3 or a Steep 4 or whatever.
Yeah. And I am with you in the sense that it, like, since Iger's come back, it has been about course correcting. I mean, if things were just to continue on the path that they were on for all of this stuff, it wasn't going to lead anywhere. It was just going to eventually lead to burnout. There needs to be something that, really lights the fire. And I gotta say though, like, I do hope that when we move into this new era of films, I hope they're able to do TV shows that connect to the films at the same time eventually.
You know what I mean? Like if Mando was a movie and how it could be coming in and out.
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
kinda.
Yeah.
But it's more like if you were making episode 7 today, would I want like a TV show? Let's just pretend like the Church of the Force wasn't slaughtered in the opening sequence. Would I want like a thing about like Lor San Tekka's people and what they were doing, and then what they were trying to, like, how they were trying to save that map to Luke Skywalker and keep it out of enemy hands, stuff like that. Like, it would be nice if things connected in intriguing ways, but I'm not so sure if it will. I kind of feel like we'll probably most likely get a film, and then we'll get like 2 other shows in completely different eras. You know what I mean? And then when the film's done, then we might get a TV show in that era. But I would love it if there was like a series idea that was big enough that we could have things going on in the series, and you know what I mean? Like sort of a very living kind of thing. But I will take something good over connectivity any day of the year too, Topic Podcast also goes on to say, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora and Star Wars Explorer, whatever it's called, will be sibling games, I feel. Hoping for third-person mode, though. So like in third-person mode, then you're saying like you hope like you see your character? When there's like cosmetics to like earn and define and stuff like that, that's when I'm pretty about that, at that point. And customizing your character, that's always fun. Keeps you going. Keeps you playing a game. But anyways, we did it, Rob.
We did it.
We asked a question. Topic Podcast came in and answered it. Said, hey, nope, they were old. They were unannounced games, so that's good. We'll be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Hopefully on time tomorrow. I plan to be on time tomorrow. I plan to be on time tomorrow. I was 20 minutes late today. What do you want?
You were 20 minutes early yesterday, so it evens out.
There we go. See? And
I like how I get the note. I'm starting now. Like I'm like, what the fuck? Like, is that a veiled threat or something? Like, all right.
No, because I only had like 40 minutes, so I was like, I'm just gonna start now and get some of the fat out of the way, because there's also 2 shows you didn't watch, Willow and the Star Wars one.
It's better if I talk about it because no one else watched it. So
yeah.
There's more of me than you right now, Jason.
Hey, when somebody edits Willow into a fan edit and changes the music all to James Horner, let me know. I want to.
How do they isolate the audio though? You know what I mean? It's all mixed, so I don't.
When there's certain like 5.1 tracks and stuff, the audio will sometimes not have bleed, and if that happens, the audio's on its own channel, for instance. It might be possible. I might be wrong. I don't know. I don't know what the sound mix for the show is. I'm watching it in fucking stereo, as are most people. We live in a world where we pretend that everybody's using their 5.1. Most people have 5.1 and don't even fucking turn it on when they have it.
That's what I've been saying. People fucking oversell sound systems, dude.
Yeah. I love it. I mean, I love it. Don't get me wrong. I'm all about it when you can have it, but for the most part, you end up like you're all about it, and then you got it set up, and then like you get a new girlfriend or something. Man. She doesn't like the wires, or she vacuums over it because you're a pig and she breaks it, and you're like, oh man. That's that.
Very specific, Jason. Very specific.
Whatever. But
It's a
yeah,
Tuesday
so
night. We're making chicken tonight. Like stovetop.
tomorrow, me and Rob are we doing? Oh no, we're not having. We can't have a pizza day tomorrow, right? No pizza day tomorrow.
Oh no,
No pizza day.
for a
No,
while.
no. Don't eat your pizza and tell Rob about it tomorrow. Don't be mean like that.
I don't care. I don't look
No.
at the screen. So.
I'll read. KG says she's eating a delicious anchovy pizza like she's Heathcliff from the old cartoon. Remember cartoons? They always eat anchovy pizzas. I don't know why. Was that supposed to be funny?
The Junkyard Cats. I was more in the
he had a tape deck. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah. The animation to the opening was way cool.
Yeah. I used to watch that every day after school with Heathcliff and Dennis the Menace, the cartoons. But anyways, all right, everybody, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Say bye, Rob.
Bye, Rob.
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
You know you should go.
Come on, let's go. It's not about spaceships.